I am here with Erich Schultz at Nine Worlds Geekfest. This year is the third time that this convention has taken London by storm. So today I'm going to ask Erich about the beginning of this incredible new adventure. Erich, what can you tell us about the origin of Nine Worlds?
Well, it began a little over 3 years ago. Myself, Ludi and Daniel were all living together in a house and decided we wanted to build a project together, and we started because we're science fiction fans ourselves and we've been going to big American conventions. The Americans have these huge conventions like San Diego Comic-Con with 120,000 people and Dragon Con in Atlanta with 80,000 people, and we were like, could something like that exist in London with all these different tracks and all these different fandoms coming together? So when we started talking to lots of our friends, they were like, yeah, do the thing. So we spent a few months plotting and putting some things together, and we ran a Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding campaign, and it was hugely successful. We got more than double of what we asked for. So it was obvious that people really wanted this to happen. And then we spent about a year putting it all together, finding people who were really enthusiastic about different aspects of content. I wanted to run a track about writing fan fiction or geek feminism or Joss Whedon fandom or Star Trek or all those things. This year we have 36 different tracks of different aspects of science fiction and geek fandom. It goes outside of science fiction. We have food geekery as well. They do things like toast marshmallows and taste gin, as geeks do in all sorts of areas and take it very seriously. So that's really the origin. We just wanted to build this project, and we were part of the science fiction community, and everybody was like, yes, yes. And it just sort of grew from there. And now we've got a team of about 100 people who make it happen.
Oh wow,
so
that's incredible. And have you always been based at the Radisson Blu?
That's right.
Okay, so the hotel, and you essentially, if I'm not mistaken, you take over the entire hotel. So how big a crowd we're talking about?
We have about 2,000 people this year.
Okay.
And that's up from around 1,500 in our first year.
That's great.
Yeah. And yeah, we take over this hotel. We've got most of the Park Inn and about half of the Renaissance across the street filled with our attendees. So
that is fantastic.
Heathrow is a sort of a geek center right now.
It is indeed, it is indeed. And now before you mention some very interesting tracks, so we talked about Joss Whedon, we talked about feminism, we talked about social justice, we talked about cultural diversity. Now these kind of tracks are quite unique and definitely not something that you would find in many conventions. So when, if you like, the awareness of, if you like, the social justice areas came for you, you know, when did you guys realize that you wanted to have very specific tracks together with the books, the movies, the things which are obviously more often associated with science fiction and fantasy?
We knew this from the start, actually. This was one of our reasons, is we felt like if we're starting a new convention now, we need to make that relevant to today's values and issues. And a lot of science fiction conventions, and maybe some that you've been to, they might be 10 or 20 years old. And they were products of their time. And social attitudes to many things change over times. And so when it was time to create a new science fiction convention, it was time to look what's out there, what is the cutting edge of issues that we should be looking at. And fortunately for us, we have a broad collection of friends who are interested in many aspects of social justice, and they could advise us as how are we going to make this as inclusive an event as we can, as accessible to as many different people as we can. And so some of that we do by encouraging tracks. We have as you said, we have a geek feminism track this year. We have a race and culture track this year. We have a number of tracks that look at certain science fiction fandoms from a particular angle that's more inclusive than what people might think of as a sort of traditional fanboy stuff. And then we look at other aspects of our convention to try to make that more accessible. So we have quite an extensive non-harassment policy,
Yep.
sort of outlining how we need people to interact with each other and respect each other at this event. We do things like pronoun badges.
Yes, I've seen them downstairs.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm wearing one right now. So
We have a good picture of it as well. So
in the first year, we had pronoun badges for people who their gender identity might not be immediately obvious, and
Yep.
they wanted to put it out there for people so that they wouldn't be misgendered. And that turned out to be so popular that actually most of the community decided, yeah, actually, we should normalize this process. It encourages people to think about gender and pronouns, and that has created a more inclusive event because people are more aware of this. More people are being gendered as they wish to be gendered at this event, and that's the sort of thing we're looking at to make it better.
absolutely. Well, this is incredible. It's very not just an innovation, but it's what you need to make this kind of issues part of everyday life. That's how you do it, you know. So this is fantastic. So this is Saturday. We are halfway through the convention.
That's right.
So there is an amazing vibe all around. We've seen beautiful costumes. We've seen rooms with very, very young children creating, sculptures and art, and adults playing games as well. We've been to amazing panels, so obviously, you have the inside view. How do you feel so far? How are things?
It's going really well. The first year we really didn't know what to expect, so it was a really white knuckle ride. We were like, have we missed out something absolutely essential that's going to mean we just fall over? That didn't happen. The second year happened, and I think we really learned, okay, this is what we need to do. Going into the third year, it feels considerably more relaxed. Feels like we've hit our stride. Next year, there's going to be a lot of change in that a lot of the organizers, they've been here for 3 years. They're moving on. A new team's taking over, but it feels like we've really figured out how to run a good event at this venue. So that knowledge will carry on, and I'm sure the new team will run a fantastic event next year as well.
That's fantastic. Tell me, the Gamble Awards, which obviously we're looking forward to them tonight. Is this how did you guys, if you like, decided basically to amalgamate the two? How did that happen?
Yeah, it's not so much an amalgamation. We're providing space for the Gamble
Okay.
Awards, so they're very much they're still
Yeah.
their own thing. Previously, they've run at different venues. They've run at the Magic Circle. They ran previously at the World Fantasy Convention. But the first year we ran this, Stan Nichols, who runs the event, he came to our Nine Worlds as a guest, and we started talking, and he was like, this year I'd really like to run the Gemmels in Nine Worlds. And we're like, that sounds like a fantastic idea, because that's an event to recognize fantasy literature and art, and a big part of what we do here is art and fantasy. So it was a natural mix, and we had a really good space for the Gemmels to happen. So we're really looking forward to that tonight.
Very good, and so are we. Okay, well, Eric, tell me, so next year, will you be still in the team?
I'll be around.
I'll be around.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll definitely be around helping out.
Oh,
I
that
think
is
I might take a little step back myself, but certainly some of the other key team members they're carrying on.
Very good. Oh, thank you so much, Eric.
Oh, thank you, Francesca.
So, from the Nine Worlds Geekfest, I'm here with Eric, and we bid you goodbye.
Thank you.